Hey, what is going on, everybody? We are here to jump into uh getting destroyed. I'm getting distracted by politics, man. Let's get us into some good old Warhammer. I'm making sure I get my notes pulled up. We're ready to do this. Anyways, so last time we left off with Sequinius, Synchronius, Sanguinius. Pretty sure I know how to pronounce Sanguinius. Anyways, and now we're moving on to Ferrus Manus. I read a lot of you guys mention that you were not really happy with the way sorry, I'm doing two things. Sanguinius. You guys didn't like the way that Rembrandt had concluded part of Sanguinius's end. So I have retained that I gotta check out an additional Sanguinius video, an extended version, and I do have to check out an extended version of Peter Rabo because I heard many people were just not really happy with the execution of those videos. And, I had some people playfully call me out for Sanguinius being on the bottom, like not bottom, but like number 6. And, when people hype up a character like before you reach that character, I don't really know how to explain it, but because it's not that it's being spoiled, but the expectations is so high. I don't want to pick Sanguinius as like number one hypothetically because the community expects me to pick him as number one or because the community hypes him as number one. I really want to, with any one of these characters, how I approach media, I want them to be my number one because I decided they were my number one. It's kind of a choice thing. Um, and that's just that. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with sharing who your number one is. I'm really just sharing my psychology and the way I think. I kind of got a rebellious, contrarian. I want to pick the one that people dislike the most, kind of a thing. So Conrad, yo, the more I heard people post their disdain for Conrad, I kind of wanted to move him up the list. This is how I am. I'm not actually going to, just sharing my psychology. So Sanguinius, absolutely a phenomenal character. And as I keep getting introduced to him further, I'll, we'll see. I refer to him as him. Yo, Sanguinius was him. And I read a comment that was like, Sanguinius is more than him. He is, I don't know, like a god among men. I was like, yo, man, when I said him, I'm like, I'm telling you, he was the best of the best. But when I said him, it still wasn't it, man. It's one of those things where I could have said, yo, he was God. And people would have been like, no, that's crazy, son. You don't even understand. He was like the maker of God. And it's like, whoa, man, how can I hype the boy up? Anyways, so check, we're going to keep updating this. Here's my plan. We're going to get to every single Primarch. I'm going to keep doing Primarch, another topic, Primarch, another topic, Primarch, another topic. And then we're going to do some more deeper dives. Just recently, I did the Oedipus Mechanicus, which was almost a 2-hour video. So I'm going into the dives, and I'll be updating my notes as I find things of interest to me. So you guys already know the deal. If you have an interesting thing to recommend to me, use the pinned comment. I check those out. Let's jump into Ferrus Manus.
We were not made to rest. We go on, unflinching, unstoppable, unending in our strength. The Emperor did not make us for such mortal concerns as hearth and home, vanity or contemplation. We are his engines of war, his hammers, beating out the fabric of existence into a vessel fit for mankind to inhabit. Many of the Primarchs of the Imperium are adored for their benevolence, but not all exhibit the traits of grace or kindness. Though the traitor Primarchs particularly are remembered for their bloodlust and cold demeanor, there is one true son of the Emperor whose commitment to the Imperium's ideals were ironclad. A Primarch whom, should he achieve his goals and duties without fault, would care not how the subjects of the Imperium would see him. A taskmaster and courageous leader, this Primarch led his legion as a harsh but fair commander. Primarch of the 10th Legion, Ferrus Manus. As the sons of the Emperor were scattered throughout the stars, Ferrus Manus's pod would land on the feral world of Medusa, impacting on the highest mountain, Karashi, the ice pinnacle. The capsule shattered the mountaintop, burying itself deep into the ice. Medusa's surface collapsing, reforming and shifting with the arrival of the Primarch.
Oh, jeez.
Growing in solitude, Ferrus would inspect the markings on his pod, embossed with an X. Realizing it not to be native of the world, Manus would further examine runes and electroconductive stalagmites within the chamber in which he lived. His
I'm hearing that this homie figured out that his pod is not of his world, but I haven't reached the part where they explain his interaction with other people. He was in solitude. It's as if this homie taught himself how to read and write without the help of an adult. If that's the case, that's crazy. Hold on. Make me a little smaller. I think that's all I need.
interference awakening a colossal biomechanical worm that lay dormant beneath the chamber, and after a futile effort to fight it, Ferrus would watch the creature escape and destroy everything within its path.
Oh, including
the young boy would swear that one day it would die by his hands. The boy would then observe the world outside, seeing humans in the distance, but remaining hidden from their gaze. As years passed, the clans of Medusa would discuss sightings of a strange boy, being dubbed names by the many sects and groupings of inhabitants, such as the Cataclysm, the Hunter, the Finality, and the Son of Man. More years passed until the Primarch was fully grown. Unscathed from living isolated within the mountain's core, Manus would not join with the clans of Medusa, instead seeking challenges on the planet to test his might and resilience. Slaying many ferocious beasts would prove his raw strength, culminating with his battle against the great silver worm, Asirnoth, the metallic beast which he had vowed to destroy. Impervious to conventional weapons, Ferrus would drown it in a river of magma, its flesh melting and fusing with the Primarch's arms. Imbuing the Primarch with his legendary Necrodermis-coated arms, with which his future legion would make their namesake.
That is so badass.
Returning to the
Give me a second, man. I was just casually watching, and this just escalated really quick.
Against the great silver worm,
Hold
Asirnoth,
on.
instead seeking challenges on the planet. From living isolated within the mountain's core, Manus would not join with the clans of Medusa.
This is crazy.
Instead seeking challenges on the planet to test his might and resilience. Slaying many ferocious beasts would prove his raw strength, culminating with his battle against the great silver worm, Asirnoth, the metallic beast which he had vowed to destroy. Impervious to conventional weapons, Ferrus would drown it in a river of magma, its flesh melting and fusing with the Primarch's
he was drowning it in magma. That's
imbuing
crazy.
the Primarch with his legendary Necrodermis-coated arms, with which his future legion would make their namesake.
Ferrus Manus is really
Returning to
cool.
the clans and tribes, Manus would divulge his knowledge of technology, advancing their stunted civilization and allowing Medusa to prosper.
Sorry, there might be a lot of pausing, but
advancing their stunted civilization,
really fascinated by this Primarch
returning
story.
to the clans and
Look at this guy's getup, man. That is so. He reminds me of Jax and the Oedipus Mechanicus. You know, that's crazy.
tribes. Manus would divulge his knowledge of technology, advancing their stunted civilization and allowing Medusa to prosper under the rule of his iron grip. Though the clans would fight amongst themselves, Ferrus would never intervene, seeing the competition wrought by their infighting to be healthy for their continued improvement.
I agree.
With the arrival of the Emperor, Manus would test his father through battle, leveling entire mountains as they fought. Manus would relish the test of his strength, and willingly bend the knee to a warrior worthy of matching his power. Assuming command of the 10th Legion, the Iron Hands would stand obediently at their father's side, for soon they would be needed to fight the Emperor's great crusade. Fulgrim would be one of the first Primarchs to meet Ferrus Manus. Initially, Manus would show disdain for his brother, seeing him as a foppish artist wasting time on culture, whilst the reclamation of the galaxy was at stake. Fulgrim would jokingly refer to Ferrus as the Gorgon, a mythical terran creature renowned for its ugliness and ability to turn men into stone. The moniker would resound throughout the Imperium as fitting for the Primarch of the Iron Hands, the Legion bringing untold thousands of planets into compliance due to their Primarch's remorseless and relentless drive to fulfill the will of his Emperor, purging every weak link in his chain of command, a non-compliant world in pursuit of strengthening the Imperium. Fighting alongside the Emperor's children on many occasions, such as the compliance of the human disparate civilization, the two legions would forge tremendous bonds of trust and friendship, despite their unlikely contrast as warriors. Fulgrim had even boasted that he would create the perfect weapon to wield in the coming Great Crusade. As a master craftsman, the Gorgon would not let such a boast go unwarranted.
I'm going to guess because I think I remember this story. One makes a sword, one makes the hammer, and they exchange weapons. I think I remember him in Fulgrim's story.
And decided that they should compete to craft the finest weapons. Manus forged a sword known as Fireblade. Its edge able to ignite, alike to that of the Emperor's own weapon of choice, with Fulgrim forging the mighty Warhammer Forgebreaker, a weapon capable of leveling entire mountains.
Yep,
The two would see their brother's craftsmanship as superior and concede defeat, and in an act of respect and solidarity, exchange their weapons. Their bond as brothers, now complete. However, during the Horus Heresy, their kinship would be tested and tragically torn asunder. Fulgrim would be lured by the temptations of chaos, and before the beginning stages of the heresy, would try to persuade Ferrus Manus to join his cause. Enraged at even the suggestion of such an act, Ferrus attacked Fulgrim, a short duel wherein Ferrus would break Fireblade, mirroring the breaking of the bond of their brotherhood. Due to a hesitation to kill his brother for his treachery, Fulgrim would take the opportunity to strike Ferrus unconscious and claim his own creation, Forgebreaker. The Gorgon's elite honor guard of the Morlocks would be ambushed and killed during the deception, injuring their captain Gabriel Santor, letting him watch the betrayal unfold. Gaining
that's the thing that these good guys always have, that is a perpetual disadvantage. They will hesitate, and you can never blame them. You can't really say much about it, because the fact that they hesitate is why they are good. You know what I mean? And I know there's no good guys here in Warhammer, but, just for the sake of a lack of a better term. But, people like Fulgrim, the evil ones, they've already had time to question their decisions of betrayal. Here it is. Let me just take it back. Forget about good versus bad. As the traitor, I am already prepared for the bad decisions that's going to come with betrayal. People don't just be like, screw it, I'm a traitor. You think about it. You marinate on it. The decisions really seep into your soul, the forces of chaos, whatever it is. So by the time the battle already starts, the protagonist or the loyal one, they're still in shock. That's why they can't strike you down dead or do the things that are necessary. They're still like, wait, what? Why are we doing this? Yo, son, we are brothers. Traitor always has the advantage when it comes to ending the life of who needs to be ended.
Consciousness, Ferrus Manus would resolve to enact his revenge on his traitorous brother. Departing with all haste, the Gorgon would lead a charge of loyalist legions to destroy the traitor forces before their armies could engage the wider Imperium. With the aid of the Salamanders, Raven Guard, Night Lords, Iron Warriors, Word Bearers, and Alpha Legion at his command, they would quash the traitor legions of the World Eaters, Death Guard, Sons of Horus, and Emperor's Children with overwhelming force of numbers. The battle would take place on Istvaan V, with the loyalist initial waves of Vulcan, Corvus Corax, Ferrus Manus and their respective legions engaging the traitors. With victory assured, should their loyalist inbound legions be at their side, their trust in their brothers would be misplaced. As the second wave descended upon Istvaan V, they would show their true colors. With the strength of 8 traitor legions, they would crush the loyalists. Istvaan V was no longer a battle, it was a massacre.
Dang.
In an act of desperate defiance, Ferrus Manus would command his men to kill as many Emperor's children as they could. The Gorgon would face his brother Fulgrim again in battle, but this time only one Primarch would survive. Ferrus wielded Fireblade, reforged by his hand for one purpose, to end Fulgrim's life. Fulgrim would fight with the Layer Blade, a demon-infused sword which would aid Fulgrim's strike, cutting the head from the Gorgon's neck. With news of Ferrus Manus' death, Brute Guilliman of the Ultramarines would grieve at the loss of his most favoured brother, with even Horus Lupercal claiming the Gorgon's skull and rambling to its facade, confiding that he lamented Ferrus's choice not to stand by his side during the Great War to end the Imperium. Though later in the Heresy, in a final act of defiance, Manus would be reborn during the Battle of the Webway by the Emperor himself,
Reborn.
fighting alongside the fallen heroes of the Imperium as a blazing spectre against the demonic hordes. The skull of Ferrus Manus would be returned to the Iron Hands. To this day, it rests upon the altar of the Eye of Medusa, guarded by the chapter's stalwart, Hellfather.
They are not my hands. This fact is forgotten by my brothers. Inexplicably, it has always seemed to me,
These are not
the
my
hands are strong, to be sure, and have created great things for us all, but they are not mine, and that counts for something. They forget that the silver on my arms comes from a beast that I vanquished. It is the mark of a great evil that I ended, and yet it persists within me.
Ooh.
I will struggle to remove it now. I will not remove the silver from my flesh because I have learned to depend on it.
Oh,
The
what a
fault is with my
conundrum.
mind. I rely on the augmentation given to me by my metal gauntlets, so much so that the flesh beneath them is now little more than a distant memory. A day will come when I will strip it from me, lest I lose the power to master myself forever. Already my legion's warriors replace their shield hands with metal in my honor, and so they are too learning to doubt the natural strength of their bodies.
The natural
They must be
strength of their
weaned
body.
of this practice before it becomes a mania for them. Hatred of what is natural, of what is human, is the first and greatest of the corruptions. So I record it here. When the time comes, I will strip my hands of their unnatural silver. I will instruct my legion to recant their distrust of the flesh. I will turn them away from the gifts of the machine and bid them to relearn the mysteries of the flesh, bone and blood. When my father's crusade is over, this shall be my sacred task. When the
Didn't make
fighting
it
is
that
done,
far.
I shall cure my legion and myself. For if fighting is all there is, if we may never pause to reflect on what such devotion to strength is doing to us, then our compulsion will only grow.
This has been a tale of
So my homie does not like the Oedipus Mechanicus. Like, what? Get rid of the machine for flesh? He's totally the opposite, man.
the Great
Anyways.
Imperium of Man, read by the Remembrancer. Sons of Ultramar, march for Macragge, for in my next Vox transmission, I shall elucidate the deeds of Primarch Rebute Gilliman.
I absolutely loved Leminus, Ferrus Manus. I loved him. 10th Legion. So here is going to be the notes that we have for him. Where is he going to be? Honestly, after like Conrad, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard. So I'm just going to put him under. You know what? I'm lying to you guys. I'm lying. I like Ferrus Manus. I like him. He built Gorgon, led the 10th Legion, made a flame sword for Fulgrim, has metal arms, died by Fulgrim, wanted eventually to get back flesh. He was the technical one. Yeah, I just like him. Ferrus Manus. I just like him. And that's really all there is to it. I like his drip. I like what he stood for. I like his character. His story was quite interesting. To be honest with you, the part that's important is that he was raised alone and made it his life's mission to run the ones with this metal centipede. And then he puts this thing in some lava, and somehow the flesh of the centipede or worm becomes, one with his arms. That's just cool, man. And he has a real cool design. So I just really, really like him. And I want to stress, man, I like everybody on my list. The only one who, I'm just being honest with you, who I don't really have any connection to is Peter Robbo. I said in the very beginning that I'm going to give Peter Robbo another chance by checking out a longer video of him. But, like, I like all the Primarchs. Like, they're all cool. But there's certain people I'm going to have a connection with. I'm going to have a connection with Conrad because he's like Batman, but like crazy. Okay. Um, I like Ferrus Manus. He likes building stuff. He can fight. He has the 2 Jack's arms. He ran the ones with the centipede, and I have a lot of detailed notes about him. Fulgrim, I really like Fulgrim because if I can be honest with you, let me just change this real quick. I see how this is looking. We go dorm. You can really tell because of how I wrote my notes and me going back over it. I like Fulgrim after his video. I liked his words. I just liked his persona. He's just a dope guy. And white scars. So I think this is my list right now. Yeah. 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 And anybody can go. I gotta look at Lehman Roos and Jagan Khan again. These guys are getting tested. They really are for the homie Fulgrim and Conrad and then Ferrus Manus. But anyways, you guys know I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys being tolerant of my opinions and my takes. I'm just here to vibe with you guys, learn, and that's it, man. All right. If you guys want to be able to suggest the next videos I should watch, know that I'm going right down the list as far as the Primarchs go. But as far as other videos, whether it's an orc video, Sisters of Death, or whatnot, I take recommendations as well. Use the pin comment. That's what I'm gonna look back for. I'm active on Twitter. I do have a Patreon. Check that out. Until next time, I am out. Oh yeah, we got a Discord, man. Join the Discord. Let's connect with some more Warhammer fans and grow that. I'm out. As always, thanks for supporting this channel. If you don't know, we do have a Patreon, and it's free to join. You can stay updated, suggest content, or vote on polls. If you're interested in our uncut and early reactions to anime, K-drama, Western shows, and movie reactions, which include exclusive reactions not found on YouTube, you can join the upper tiers on Patreon, or you can stick with the edited content right here on YouTube. We got Yaboyrocklee reactions also in the description of this video. Until next time, I'm out.